After watching Trey Lance for one game, is he where he needs to be as a quarterback? Grant, as a
Ooh,
football player.
is he where he needs to be? No. But I think he's close. I don't think he's close to being as good as he could be in the future. But what he needs to be for this team is he needs to improve the run game. I think he has. He needs to improve the third down offense. So far, they were really good on third down this game. They're ninth and third down offense so far. The passing game needs to be at least as good as it was last year, and he needs to not turn the ball over and lose the game. I think he's showing that he can do those things, but he didn't play last year. He didn't play in the preseason, and there's going to be like side effects of that. You saw with the interception he threw in the fourth quarter. Like maybe you could get away with that throw in Division II football, but he doesn't really have a feel for how quickly good safeties break on passes. And you get that feel playing quarterback for a year as a rookie, right? Like Peyton Manning threw 28 picks his rookie year. He learned, okay, this is how fast, this is the speed of the game in the NFL. Trey doesn't really know yet. So he's going to have moments where he makes mistakes because he didn't play. And so I guess he's close. I think the things they expect him to do this year, he's doing, but he's also going to have these moments where, oh, actually they're losing to the Bears. And he needs to pass. And it's like, oh, well, he hasn't done this before. This is a work in progress. So close, but no.
He did have a 50 passer rating, which is really not very good.
No. He had an 85 passer rating the first three quarters. And then the fourth quarter, it was really raining very freaking hard.
All right, fair enough.
Yes.
Let me say this. In the positive, he brings things, and this is obvious, to the offense that Jimmy couldn't. The run. He can run. And he's tough. He can run.
Yeah.
He can throw the deep ball. In fact, he throws a deep ball better than the short stuff over the middle, which Jimmy was good at. But it opens up the offense, and in that regard, opens up receivers and running backs. So that's really good. He's inconsistent, Iggy. Passes to the flat, stuff that Jimmy could do actually easily, he has trouble with. So he's inconsistent. Now, my question is, if he's not quite where he needs to be, one assumes he'll be there by game 8 or game 9. The problem is this is a Super Bowl team, and other players on the team, I haven't talked to any of them, say we may be giving away games because this kid has a learning curve, and we know that Jimmy doesn't have a learning curve. And Iggy, that's a legitimate gripe. It's a legitimate, I want to finish. It's a legitimate worry. But I blame Kyle. Again, he had ample opportunity to play this kid last season, to bring him into games for a series, 2 series, to make packages for him. Bill Walsh would have done it. And he didn't do it. And Iggy, all through the preseason, I kept saying, you got to play Trey Lance more. You got to. Iggy, in the second preseason game, did he play at all? No. Are you kidding me? Kyle, I understand you're worried about injuries and stuff. This is football. People get hurt. This kid is inconsistent. He's an improvement, I believe, over Jimmy, but he's not where he needs to be, and he could have been. He could have satisfied certain veterans by having him season ready, game 1. And I don't think he'll be season ready for several more games. That's what I think, Iggy.
I disagree. I actually want to give him more credit. You said he's good at running and throwing deep. He's better than that. He does more good things. It's not just that. Like if we're talking about his shot chart or his spray chart on the field, it's about what Kyle calls. He's also good at throwing outside the numbers anywhere. He throws the out route nice. Like he had one to Ayuk on 3rd and 3 to the left. That was a perfect strike. That Ayuk got called for offensive pass interference. Whatever. It was a perfect strike. And then the next one he ran for a first down. He can throw outside and deep. You don't want him throwing short over the middle right now. And that's okay. Kyle has to figure that out. If he doesn't call so many passes over the middle, there's more than enough to work with. There's more than enough to work with outside, short, intermediate, and long, and deep over the middle, and the run game. And Kyle just has to figure that out. He had it all down. The plan was good in the first half. He avoided those throws. Trey didn't turn the ball over, and the offense was moving. In the second half, they lost their running back. Kyle didn't adjust on his feet and just went back to the old offense, which is terrible. You can't do that you have to embrace the new player. You can't just go back to the old stuff when you get nervous.
Iggy, I've noticed over several seasons, Kyle Shanahan is better with the scripted plays. When he runs out of the script, he's not as nimble mentally as he is when he has the script. Have you noticed that?
Yes. I mean, I think yes, and this was a great example week one. Week one, the game plan was perfect. When he did throw, it was outside or deep down the field outside, guys going across the middle, but catching it near the sideline. I mean, it was all perfect. And then you lost your running back. So Kyle freaked out. Okay, I can't run the ball. Now play action isn't going to work as well. Now I got to go back to our old offense. Well, you might as well bring in Jimmy if that's what you're going to do, because that's the one thing you can't do with Trey. I think about it almost like as a basketball player. Jimmy is the guy who can get to the rim and shoot mid-range jumpers, but he has no three-point shot. Trey is the guy who can get to the rim and shoot threes, but doesn't have a mid-range game. You don't ask him to shoot mid-range jumpers. LeBron doesn't have a mid-range game. There's so much you can do in between without asking him to do the stuff he can't do. And that's on Kyle. I think Trey's shown that he can do enough for this offense for this team to go where it needs to go with that defense. That's all I'm saying.
Do you disagree with me when I say that Trey Lance is a little inconsistent?
He is a little inconsistent, but so is Jimmy. Like, here's the way I look at it. Like, you're saying he's not an elite quarterback yet, because elite quarterbacks are consistent. No, he's not. And if the Niners had an elite quarterback, we wouldn't be talking about this. But what they have is a great defense, a run game, and two quarterbacks. And to win a Super Bowl without a great quarterback, you need a great defense and a great run game. And they don't have a great run game with Jimmy Garoppolo. They have a great run game with Trey. It doesn't mean they'll win the Super Bowl, but I think they have a better chance with Trey than with Jimmy. I do.
It's interesting to hear you. You're a little more sold on Trey Lance than I am, which is fine. I keep losing bets to you. By the way, I have the bottle of wine here that I lost on the Jimmy bet, and I ought to bring it over so next week you can show the 2 bottles of wine I lost to you, and they're great. Anyway, but you are a little more sold on Trey Lance than I am. I think part of the reason is you were there in training camp, and I sit in the house and look out the window. So I didn't see him in training camp, and you did. And that was important for you.
Yeah. I don't think he's a great quarterback. I don't think it's like, I'm sitting here being like, what are people missing? This guy's a Pro Bowler. Like, no, not at all. He's definitely inconsistent. There's specific ways you need to use him. I'm saying don't throw over the middle with him. That's a limitation. It can't be like that 2 years from now. But right now, you have to understand his strengths and weaknesses and play to his strengths, just like they did with Jimmy. Jimmy can't throw deep. Jimmy can't move. Jimmy can't throw outside the numbers. So Kyle learned all that and erased it from his offense. Do that for Trey. Embrace present. So embrace the present.
So if they embrace the essential Trey,
yes,
is this a team that can go deep in the playoffs?
It's a team that can win the Super Bowl. It's the same. Let me explain. So this is the Niners, okay? They have a great defense. They have this run game, but teams want to shut down the run game. They know it. We got to put the game in Jimmy Garoppolo's hands. So we're going to put an 8-man box.
Jimmy Garoppolo's hands, Trey Lance's hands.
But let me just explain why they're here, okay? We got to run the ball. Jimmy's our quarterback. We're going to put 8 in the box. Jimmy can't make you pay. We can't make you, right? 8 in the box. Throw deep. Do something. Jimmy won't do it. So you keep throwing passes into this congested area. We saw what happened. They didn't win the Super Bowl. Theoretically, with Trey, if you have an 8-man box against Trey, he's just going to take shots down the field and hit a lot of them. And if the defense eventually says, okay, fine, you're hitting these deep shots, we're going to play 2 deep safeties, and they'll run for 300 yards. That's how the Seahawks won the Super Bowl 10 years ago. It can be done. The Niners have to make you play for trying to take away their run game, and Jimmy couldn't do it. Trey can. He did it 3 times in this game. He was 3 for 4 on deep throws. It works. It's going to work as long as the whole team doesn't fall apart. Elijah Mitchell getting hurt really didn't help.